All right, now let's move on to the fog lights, and then we'll do the camera last. Now, Harley Davidsons and most other motorcycle aftermarket parts, they sell brackets, but for this year, they didn't sell it because it was just too new. So I had to kind of get my own brackets. Now I bought these, what are called pull bar clamps. They generally go on top of cars that have like the pull bars or the big metallic bars in front of the bumpers on most off-road vehicles, things like that. So I bought these that fit my bike, not precisely, so I had to use some rubber grommets. You can probably see them kind of right there. So it doesn't bend the shaft itself, but it holds it on tight enough. Afterwards, I bought these, which came pretty much pre-assembled. It did have 3 wires, ground, red, and then yellow for the halo rings. The yellow was connected to here, or actually the ground was connected to the metal chassis itself, and I didn't want that because I wasn't going to be able to ground this anyways. So I cut it and I made a 3rd wire come all the way through here. So as you can see, it's avoiding any of the pinch points, so it's moving. And now that power actually, let's see if you can see it, goes through here into this voltage regulator. Now this one gives it a constant 12 volts at around 2 amps, depending if I have the actual LED running or just the halo rings. Now it's constantly giving it to the halo rings 12 volts. What I get from the motorcycle is around 16 volts. I had some previous fog lights which blew it out pretty much within 2 days because it was too much voltage to handle. Amperage, it was fairly the same, 2 to 3 amps. Probably a little less. I can't remember right now. But at least this fixes that issue for the fog lights. What can be received here is up to 24 volts at, I believe, at 6 amps max, which the bike doesn't really give it that much anyways. So this is perfect for me. You might want to look up to see if they sell one for your bike, or if your motorcycle can handle also accessory lights. Now, what I was saying about the accessory cable point is, once I get this cover off, there you go. It's a jungle in here. On this Harley bike, it already comes pre-wired with an accessory connection. Now you can see a lot of mess. However, for me, it came with the connector that was already installed. I did remove that connector because I was gonna add a accessory lights on my own. Harley sells their own, so you don't really have to rework this part, but essentially you still have to rework the end to make it fit anything else. So I just did it myself. This is the cable itself. As you can see, I added a fuse for the voltage regulator. Now the power goes through here, it goes around here, and then it comes back to this cable here, which is connected, and it goes towards the end here. So you can probably see it now here, right? See my little finger? So right there, it goes to that cable, and it comes out here, and I wired it under the tank. Under the tank, there's the chassis part, so I'm not really worried that it'll overheat or pinch. There is a big enough gap. If I pull it, I can freely pull it, and I can see it over here. See? So I have no issues with that. I just wrapped it just in case. We have a precaution. Make sure it doesn't light on fire or anything. And that powers the fog lights in front. I did once again add a fuse, so you might want to do that. Now, it only turns on when the motorcycle is actually on. When it's on or running. So if it's running, it stays on. If it has this kill switch is still on, it'll stay on. But once it's turned off, this turns off and the security system takes over. So I'm not worried that during the security system it'll turn on, because it's a different circuit. I hope. That's what I read about it. Now, that is the LED fog lights, accessory lights, if you want to put them. This does have a tender, but it's a separate unit, so it's built in. It came with it. I'm pretty happy, straight from the dealership. Now, in order for me to wire everything through here, I just removed this bolt here and one of the bolts that's here for the tank. I have a lift, so that way it's stable when I move the handlebars and so I get to the bolt. And I lift the tank about an inch up, and I use a wire guide to pull or feed the cables through. That way I don't have to lift the whole tank, empty it out, or have worry about it leaking. Okay, so if you have any questions about that, go ahead and ask them, and I'll try to help out.